Good morning, my Algebra 1 class. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys did a fantastic job on your last assignment, and I hope you're ready to learn something new. All right, so today we're going to start building upon stuff that we've already done, and this is lesson 8.4, which is multiplying special cases. So we previously talked about how to multiply a binomial times a binomial, and we've learned how to multiply a trinomial and a binomial. So today we're going to be dealing with multiplying two types of binomials together in our lesson. So you just need a basic calculator. You need your textbook. You go ahead and go to page 505, and then you're going to need access to homework 67 online. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, switch out our paper real fast. All right, so today's lesson, example 1, is called factoring / squaring a binomial. All right, so we've already learned the factoring portion of taking this and multiplying. So I'm going to go ahead and take that portion out of our directions. So today we're only going to focus in on the squaring portion of a binomial. So this is the part that we're going to focus in on today, is squaring a binomial. All right, so before we talk about squaring a binomial, let's go ahead and talk about squaring anything. So let's suppose if we have 5 squared, literally, this means to take the 5 and multiply it by 5. So you have this exponent of 2 says we're going to take 2 of this base, 5, and multiply them together and would get 25. We're going to do the same kind of concept, but then I'm also going to show you a method in which there's a rule for these that will help you make things a lot faster and a lot quicker. All right, so we're going to start out by showing you x plus 8 and then a squared. So just like our previous example up here with the 5, 5 squared means 5 times 5. X plus 8 squared, in essence, is saying x plus 8 times x plus 8. All right? So we have learned in our previous lesson to do our distributive property. Remember, we took this x and we multiplied x times x. Then we took our x, the positive x, and we multiplied it times our 8. Then we took our positive 8 and we multiplied it by our x. Then we took our positive 8 and we multiplied it by the 8. This is what we did last week. X times x is x squared. X times 8 is 8x. 8 times x is 8x. And 8 times 8 is 64. So notice, even though we had said x times 8, we don't put x8. We always put the coefficient followed by the variable. All right, so then from here we learned last week that we take these two guys in the middle and we combine like terms. So we have our x squared plus 16x plus 64. All right, so I want to keep this guy right here in mind because he's going to be real important to us right now, as we're going to show you the method for taking a binomial and squaring it. So I'm going to move this up a smidge. All right, we're going to have a rule for this. So there's a rule. So they're going to say any value, any number, no matter what it is. Our first number happened to be x. A stands for any variable or number. Plus b. So again, plus, plus, and then r squared. So the only difference here we have between this one and this one is that a represents any value, plus b represents any other value. So the rule for this is you take the first value, which is a, and you square it. To get the term in the middle, you take this a value times the b value, and then times 2. Then you take your b value and you square it. And then you put your signs in. Alright, so now we're going to look at this and show how this same concept will work for this guy right here, and that will produce the same answer that we got right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the x plus 8 right back underneath here and squared. And we're going to follow that same rule. So we're going to take our first value, which is x instead of a. So our a value is represented by x. So I'll take that value and square it. Plus 2 times the a value times the b value plus the value squared. Alright, so these are everywhere I'm going to substitute what's in the a slot and what's in the b slot. So in my a slot is x. So I'll put x is where I saw a's. And what's in the b slot is 8. So where I have a b, I'll put in 8. Alright. So now I'll multiply. X squared becomes x squared. And then positive. 2 times x is 2x. And 2x times 8 is 16x. Because 2 times 8 is 16, times x is 16x. And my plus. And then 8 times 8 is 64. You should now notice that this value and this value are the same, except this step required a lot less work. So we're going to show you another one of those. We'll do another one, but this time we'll do one where it has a little bit more values to it. So let's do one that has, I'll move this up a little bit. We're going to do 2x plus 9, and we're going to square it. Alright, so we're going to follow the same rules. We have a's and b's. So the first value squared plus 2 times the first value times the second value plus the second term squared. So this is our first term. So this is your a value. So everywhere we have a up here, we replace it with 2x. This represents our b value. So everywhere we have a b up here, we're going to replace it with 9. And then we're going to go ahead and square. This means 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. Then we're going to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 9 is 36x. And then we're going to multiply 9 times 9, making 81. This is squaring a binomial. Alright? So if you're in your textbooks, we're going to go ahead and switch and do a couple in our book together. So we're going to go ahead and go to page 507. So we'll bring this up. We're going to go to page 507. And we're going to do number 9 and number 12. So we'll do number 9 first, and then we'll do number 12 second. So number 9 is w plus 5 squared. So again, to solve these, we follow our pattern right here. We take the first value and we square it, plus 2 times the second term, times the first term times the second term, plus the second term squared. So a is our first term, b is our second term. So we square the first term, so we're seeing a, I'm going to put that w in. Then we put our second term in, which is 5. So here we go. We'll square the first term. W then squared is w squared. 2 times 5 is 10. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Bam, beautiful. Then we're going to do problem number 12. Problem number 12 says 2n plus 7, and then squared. Again, the pattern doesn't change. Our a value squared, plus 2 times our a value times our b value, plus your b value squared. So our a value is here, so that's 2n. And then our b value is 7. So we're going to square 2n times 2n is 4n squared. Then 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 7 is a positive 28n. And then 7 times 7 is 49. Final answer. Alright, so now that was our squaring a binomial when we were adding two values, a plus something. Well, we're going to show it to you when you are subtracting. So let's go ahead and bring this back down and then switch this paper out real quick. All right, so now if we don't have an addition sign, but we have a subtraction sign. So we're still going to follow the same rule. This would be our a value squared. We multiply a times negative b, so it makes a negative ab, and then times 2. And then we take our b value and we square it. A negative times a negative makes a positive. So in essence, we don't really need the sign of the b, we're just going to use the b value. And because when you multiply a positive times a negative, it will automatically create a negative for us. So we're going to go ahead and show you that with our example. All right, we're going to do n minus 7 squared. So I'm going to show this to you the long way and then into the short method. All right, so this literally means n minus 7 times n minus 7. All right, so remember we would distribute n times n, so n times n, then n times negative 7, it's a positive n, times a negative 7. Then we got negative 7 times n, so a negative 7 times n. And then we have negative 7 times a negative 7. So here we go. N times n, n squared. Set n times negative 7, negative 7n. Remember the coefficient, then the variable. Negative 7 times n, negative 7n. And negative 7 times negative 7 is a positive 49. And again, we combine the two guys in the middle. So we bring down our n squared. Negative 7n minus 7n is negative 14n. And then we bring down our 49. So now we're going to show you the same problem, but using the shorter method. So for our rules, we take our a value, we square it, we minus 2 times the a value times the b value plus the b value, then square it. So again, we don't have to worry about the sign. All we have to do is worry about n being a and b being 7. The signs would be minus then plus. All right, so we take our n and we put it where the a values go, and we put our 7 where the b value goes. So n squared makes n squared. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14n. And 7 times 7 is 49. And you can see we have the same answer. So now we're going to go ahead and flip back over to that page 507. We're going to do a few problems. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try to do problem number 13 and 15. We're going to do 13 and 15. So problem number 13 is a minus 8 squared. So the pattern is we take the a value, we square it, minus 2 times the a value times the b value plus the b value being squared. Our a value is a, our b value is 8. So we're going to put a in for all the a values, and we're going to put 8 in for the b values. So then we square, a squared is a squared, negative 2 times 8 times a is negative 16a. Then 8 squared is 64. Beautiful job. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we'll do number 15, which would be 5m minus 2 and being squared. So again, we'll take the a value, we'll square it, minus 2 times the a value times the b value plus the b value squared. 5m is my a value and 2 is my b value. So everywhere I see an a value, I'll put in 5m. And everywhere we see the b value, we'll put in 2. then we'll square. 5m times 5m is 25m squared. And negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, times 2 is negative 20m, and 2 times 2 is 4. Beautiful. That is all that we have to do for today's lesson. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a challenging or applying this skill set, and I think you guys are pretty sharp as tacks that I can add this in, especially for my youngins who like a little bit of a challenge. So I want to make sure I give this to you guys and show you that challenge. So we're going to go ahead and give you this example. All right, we're going to be still on page 507, and we're going to look at number 17 and number 18. Number 17 starts out by giving you this beautiful rectangle like this. All right. Then on the outside of this rectangle, it tells me that this side is x plus 4. And that this side is x plus 4. But then inside it has this other little square. Inside there has another little square. And that little square says this is x minus 1, and this is x minus 1. So now what they're going to take is what we learned today, and they're going to take what you've learned already in this chapter and kind of smush them together. In the directions it says the figures, which is here, below are squares. So they're telling you that these are a square, and we'll know that because both sides, means that these sides are the same, then opposite sides are the same, so all four sides on the outside are the same here, meaning all four sides on the outside of here are the same. It says find an expression for the area of each shaded region and write your answer in standard form. So they want us to find the area of this yellow region, and they want us to find the area. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my marker here and see if you guys can see this. This is the shaded region that you have in your books. So what the shaded region is made up of is this entire area with this part cut out. So what we're going to have to do to solve our problem is we're going to find, first going to know the area of a square. Area of a square is side squared. That's the formula for area of a square. So we're going to find the area of this big giant yellow square first. So to find that area, we take one side, which is x plus 4, because that represents our s, and then we square it. So we're going to go ahead and solve that using that method we just did a second ago. So this is going to become the a value squared. This is plus, so plus 2 times the a value times the b value plus the b value squared. So we're going to go ahead and substitute those values in. This first value here is my a value, so x everywhere I see an a. And that's my b value, so 4 where everywhere I see a b. All right, so we're going to go ahead and solve that. X squared makes, well, x squared. 2 times 4 is 8 times x makes a positive 8x. And 4 times 4 makes a positive 16. So we're going to keep that value in mind. So we're going to find the area of this whole box by itself. This would be the area of the box. But we have cut out a piece. So now I got to go find the area of this, just this little piece that I cut out. So area of the smaller piece is x minus 1 squared. So I'm going to go ahead. Again, I take my a value and I square it. Because this is minus, that's minus. Then 2 times my a value times my b value plus the b value squared. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute those in. This first value, the x, is my a value. So I'm going to put those in the a slots. This 1 is my b value. So I'll put the 1 in the b slots. And solve. X squared, well, that's x squared. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then we got 1 times 1 is 1. So this is where it comes in. That is the review from something you already have done. So we're going to take the big guy. That's that x plus 4 squared. That's the area of the big fat guy. And we're going to subtract from that the area of the little guy, which is x minus 1 squared. So now I'm going to slide this up a little bit. So now we're going to take the answer we got from here, which is x squared plus 8x plus 16, we're going to minus what we got from this guy, which is x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then we're just going to go ahead and subtract. Combine our like terms. 1x squared minus 1x squared, well, those cross cancel each other out. 8x minus negative 2x. So a minus minus makes a, that's right, a plus. So 8x plus 2x make 10x. And then we have 16 minus 1. Well, 16 take away 1 is a positive 15. So this would be the area of this yellow shaded region. Beautiful. So you may see something like this on your homework or even on a test or a quiz. So I want to make sure that you saw that. Make sure you take time to read through that. And that is the end of our lesson today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.